Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of the Seercast. I'm ePiKnight, and with me today is Ballor.
I'm a cat, meow.
Geena.
All hail the glorious red berry pie.
Fang.
Roar. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well done. Best intro
Thank
ever.
you.
Siroki.
I'm proud
It's
of
like
that one.
It's like my father used to say.
Rocky win.
GG.
Oh my god.
Can't beat that.
Ernj.
Azul and Kaz are best tag team.
Best tag team NA.
Besties.
Lime.
Welcome to Rune Labs.
Oh, this is a real left.
And Walter's in the chat. And Walter is now going to be leaving the chat because today we are finally going to get around to talking about Ports lore, as well as the DAT quest and some other stuff that happened in February, as well as looking forward to the aquarium and the March BTS. So we'll go ahead and
basically this is the all of the above podcast.
It
This is the everything we haven't talked about yet.
Well, we have one of these every month, so it
Yeah,
just
true.
happens that this one
usually
also
they're not
coincides with
squished
DAT
together.
quest.
Yeah.
Wait, that's what we do here?
No, we just ramble on for hours and
Usually
sometimes
we
we
get
talk
lucky
about
and like
something.
the quest and the BTS are spaced out, and we don't get another lore update at the start of last month that we weren't able to talk about.
Yeah, so, Jagex, please don't smush the BTS and a quest together for us.
Especially a quest this big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started with ports, so Fang, why don't you take it away? And
Right.
also, by the way, if you want to not be spoiled for everything that happened in Ports 3 Sail Even Harder, skip ahead a few minutes.
Yeah,
I'll put a link
right, so
in here
probably-
somewhere.
Basically,
Well,
go ahead.
Probably more than a few, but yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Alright, apparently I've been elected our ports official, so
You
let's get going.
volunteered.
Well,
I
at least-
volunteered as ports official.
At least for the
Fine.
trio missions. I'm gonna.
Are we
I'll
allowed
also-
to?
Yeah.
Will you
I
thank
also-
us for not littering?
I also-
Yeah.
like-
Thank you. The Port Sarum dock officials would like to thank you for not littering and for listening to this ramble. Alright, so three new ports adventurers, as we mentioned last time. Their stories are relatively simple, but they all tie really well into the direction the trio mission goes. Which, I mean, it's kind of reminiscent of last time, but I was pretty happy with the way they did it. So there's the Exile, who, you meet the Exile, who is a Garaho from Daemonheim.
Not a Garaho,
Who's-
and not a Ramoki either.
Yep. Something else.
Yes.
But,
Something that she saw at the beginning.
she calls herself the Unburdened World Bearer, and, she is in pain. Like, she's very, haunted by something that happened in the past.
She's
Traumatized. There we go. That's a great word for it. And so, basically, we are kind
Actually,
of trying to help her.
that's probably the perfect word for it. She has PTSD.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And so her family is dead. Her brother is missing, and she's trying to find her brother. And she heard that he came to the east, so she went looking as well. So she goes hunting, and she takes down a smuggling operation, and she then finds her brother. And it's revealed that he, in fact, was the killer of the rest of her family, due to what's his name, Hirthan, the traitor guy from the Nadir saga. Turns out the Garaho in our Unburdened World Bearer's story
Ramoki.
were actually the ones. Yeah, they were the one.
God damn it, Fang.
They were the ones that brought the ritual stone down into Daemonheim.
Yes.
Okay. And her brother is called tries to become the Endbringer, which is kind of this like alternate type that has been long,
It's
left
this
out.
cast that apparently isn't used anymore, but we don't know a lot about. Or at least
They're very-
I don't know a lot
they're
about it.
They're very mysterious and creepy, and they seem to try to kill everything. So they don't
Yay.
seem to
They probably have a tie-in with the Elder Gods, but we don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But
I
so
don't
she
know,
discovers this with her brother, and she sinks back into a bit of a depression. And then, in her last mission called Wait On, Wait Off, which is kind of hilarious, She wants to bring justice to her brother, but isn't sure she can. So she learns the way of the goo and starts to realize her inner strength. And then there's Agi, the memory.
Whoa, wait. And the other thing is that she finally has like a position of herself. It's like between the Garaho and the Ramoki. It's the Hanobi.
She's a Garahoki.
No.
Whatever
So
works.
you gotta do the hokey pokey.
This is
and you gotta
lore.
turn yourself around. And that's what it's all
That's
about.
what it's all about.
Breaking history.
Yeah.
Anyways, go on.
And then there's Agi, the memory.
Kami.
She is a living collection of wisps, who has taken the form of Guthix's long-dead daughter. And she's being chased by a relentless diviner named Kakashi, who is later revealed to be somebody that we know, who I will reveal in a minute.
Banjo.
Agi... Shh. Spoilers. Spoilers within the spoilers.
Spoilerception. Go on.
Agi basically feels the pull of the divination craters and kind of wants to go into them, but she's trying to resist it. And she's coming to the east because there aren't any craters here. She visits sea singers. Yeah. And she visits sea singers and renames herself Kami. And she starts to form memories from her own experiences.
Wait. Before we go on, I don't really think they're sea singers. It's just sirens. And
Excuse me, that is the same thing.
No,
they are not.
they're sea singers. They are sea singers. The official wiki even confirms that it's thanks to sea singers.
The official wiki has some very sketchy things in it right now.
Yeah,
so I'm not
the official
entirely
wiki
sure.
had the wrong name for the exiles, so I mean. But Agi still feels a pull to the divination craters. She wants to travel far away from them. Then she wants to visit more of the Ushenko Isles, and she spends time with Sarula's family. She connected with one of the sea creatures.
Sarula gets her drunk.
Yeah, basically. But then Kakashi finds out that we've been sheltering Kami, and he's basically trying to chase her. However,
So we hire a bunch of assassins to tell him to stay away.
Because what else would we do as port's leader?
Yeah.
exactly. But he
why
at
is
the
it
end of
the-
that mission. At the end of that mission, he stops chasing her, though, because she's not what he thought she was. He's searching for something, and it's not quite revealed what. But she's not what he wanted. Then in her final mission, she gets a very strange dream, or vision, in which she learns that someone's been killing the sea creatures, and she wants to protect them. And that leads into
It was
her
like
part of the
this.
trio mission.
If I remember correctly, it was like this magical missile from the sky that it was.
Correct.
And I believe that is
Just
very
like
important.
The world ending. Very.
That is-
It actually kind of... It
is
kind of
It is very
let
important,
me caught on.
especially. It is very important, especially if you've watched cutscenes.
Yeah, it kind of hinted at who Kakashi really was. And then there's the Tengu, who is kind of my favorite dude ever. He's hilarious. Shanao and Sajobo, his mask. Shijobo is pretty much in control. But he is the last of the Sky Children.
The
Rather
Sky
than-
Orphans.
Or the Sky Orphans. Wow, I just fucked that up so bad.
Yeah, you did.
Well
I
done.
did.
And here we have a lore fail.
Or fail OP. The rest of them are dead, and basically he wants our help. So we kind of ferry him around while he's fighting an Oni warlord and cool stuff like that. And then he felt that his people's spirits are being disturbed, and he goes to visit, figure out what's going on. Yeah, they're also very disturbing.
They're probably disturbing too, but
very.
go on.
And however, after he lays them to rest, he suspects that there's something else going on. So he goes to Renbo to interrogate the purists. And he learns that his nemesis, a man named Benkei, is behind both the Oni uprising that he dealt with earlier and the disturbed Sky Orphan spirits. And it turns out that Benkei is actually trying to raid the Sky Orphans temple, and Sajobo and Shanao go to stop him. And they do stop him, and they have this big epic fight in the sky, and they drop him, but then they catch him. And that Mercy actually shamed Benkei into changing his allegiance over to us, and he provides information that Kakashi is actually, Benkei is working for Kakashi, and Kakashi plans to attack Paradise. And with Benkei's help, the Tengu stopped Kakashi's raid, but he escaped.
Wow, I can't wait to
also-
see those cutscenes.
I know, right?
Also, I'd like to point out that
hang on.
it's revealed at this point that Kakashi is Bandosian.
Yes.
It was revealed.
It's also
in the
very
video.
important that Kakashi got away with the rest of these feathers that control the spirits of the Sky Orphans. Benkei had one, but Kakashi got the rest of them. And so the trio missions, I have not done them, keep in mind, but I know what happens, but they're still a little vague. Because nobody writes about these things. Yeah. So, the first mission, you send Agi to the light under the sea to investigate a weird new wisp colony that forms there, while the exile and the Tengu guard her and treat with the unaffiliated sea singers. However, Kakashi, is doing things in the background. She succeeds and investigates this wisp colony and discovers that Kakashi's been screwing with it. In the second one, Gu, Warriors of the Magic Mountain, which sounds like a Disneyland ride.
It really does.
The Tengu and the memory appeal to the Gu masters for knowledge of Kamishima, which is this weird sentient island of sorts, while the exile meets with Benkei to kind of discuss what's going on with the plans. And it turns out that Devosi, who is Kakashi, our favorite little Bandosian diviner from World of End, is building another scarecrow. And he's trying to use it to kill things.
Wait, which
Specifically,
island did it go to?
it would end up killing a lot of the sea monsters. Kamishima, it's a special island that you can only really see on your map once you've done the trio missions. And you head to Kamishima to stop him from firing the Scarecrow weapon, which is kind of what he's been gathering parts for. And well, not us, actually. We have nothing to do with it except for sending people on a ship. The three of them managed to stop Devosi, and the Sea Singers and the Gu have returned home. That is their home. And the three adventurers also take up residence on Kamishima and are now the guardians of the world. Dun, dun, dun.
Is that so?
That is so. See, look, there was even spoilers in the title. I told them they should have gone with ports even harder.
They should have gone with the seeker sign-ups or whatever it's called.
All I can think of when talking about that scarecrow is, I'ma fire my lasers. That is
I know, right?
the only thing I can think of.
I am an unstoppable font of awesome
lore-wise, there's a few other things that I didn't quite mention just because they weren't, specifically relevant to that part of the story. But, during one of Agi's missions, it's revealed that the fist marks of Genma may actually be made by Guthics, and that Guthics spent time in the Washenko Isles, which is very curious.
I'd like to point out that I called it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lime is being a hipster.
I also really appreciated all of the Garaho and Ramoki, or Garahoki lore that we got from this regarding, both the Endbringer as well as how the Ritual Stone made its way down to the bottom of Daemonheim. Just lots of cool choices with that. I liked the return of Hirthen. I also really, really liked the use of Kakashi.
Devosi.
Yeah, Phil Devosi.
I can't even remember that guy. Because I never was Bandosian in that event, so I never really talked much to those guys.
Makes sense. But I thought it was a very cool idea to bring him back, kind of seeking some sort of Bandosian revenge. Wanting to see if the Scarecrow could be used for more than just killing a god. So very, very well written.
Mm-hmm.
It probably felt like the most interconnected of any of the trio missions beforehand.
We had
So what you're
issues with...
telling me...
go on.
So what you're telling me is Devosi stole all the feathers, so sell feathers?
Yeah, still feathers.
So he could become an Armadillion.
He could also give them to seagulls so they could drop them.
Yeah. Yeah, Devosi stole them so he could give himself wings so he could go talk to Armadillo because he thinks Armadillo's a really good guy.
He thinks he's a small guy.
He thinks he's a really good guy. Oh jeez.
He's Peachy Key. He's the bee's knees. Okay, I'm done.
God. Anyways. Yeah, we had issues with ports 2, right? With ports 2 didn't seem super interconnected, and this one really does.
Well, Ports 2 was surprisingly interconnected once you finished the trio missions.
But it wasn't even close up until then? I can't remember how it was.
So in the original missions, they seemed entirely separate, and then they all, like, suddenly wound together in the trios, which made sense, but it was really weird, and it didn't really feel as, like, you know, exciting as Ports 1 or Ports 3.
It wasn't as world-threatening as the others, was it?
It was basically just this weird shapeshifter creature. Spoilers. So...
I vaguely remember that. Oh yeah, because then it was just like, oh, and suddenly, surprise, they're all the same. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it, but at the same time, it didn't feel as important. It was a very comical take.
My main issue with Ports 2 was that it wasn't story-wise, it was just mechanics-wise. You get a bunch of missions that yield very little resources in comparison to all of them.
That too.
Extremely difficult. You don't have you don't have any building upgrades actually. And, you get a new trader that you barely use because...
You don't have the stuff to use him.
Yeah.
That's for Ports 3.
Yeah.
Ports 3 did a great job of adding new buildings and so on.
Yeah.
Ports 3, carried it for both Ports 2 and Ports 3. So, that was great.
So, what we're saying is basically, we like Ports 3 better than Ports 2, but in terms of story, which group would we recommend most?
Ports 1.
Story-wise, I would really recommend the attack on Paradise with Quinn. Quinn's storyline is amazing.
What trio is that, or what are the 3 adventures for that?
Zuzu, Assassin,
and Whaler.
Okay, I have done that one. I haven't done the one with the thief, whatever the thieving one is.
The
missionary, convict, and a biologist.
Convict, that's what the guy's name is.
That's a good story too. It's just not as cool as it's not as cool as Quinn. Like the Quinn storyline is just kind of insane, and then there's that one's a little more low key.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad, but it's just not as good.
Yeah.
But
just
that one was still my favorite. Second place right now is Ports 3. Third place is Ports 1B, and fourth place is
Ports 2.
Ports 2.
Rip Mod Doctor.
See, what's funny is I like the Ports 2 characters a lot, I just don't like how their story went.
Yeah.
Because the characters are very weird and eccentric, and they're kind of hilarious, and I really liked them.
Reginald Wellington Smythe.
Yeah.
I can't wait for
Ports
4. Let's see how far we've come.
Yeah. God, what skills would we even use in Ports 4?
Invention, clearly.
Everything else because it's there.
We've already got 12 level 90 skills on Ports, adding another 3. Oh my god.
That would be...
And they can't be combat, so it's not like it's going to be, and now we have 90 strength as a thing. It's like, well,
why can't they be combat?
Slayer was one. So I guess
that's not combat. That's not a combat skill. That's a support for combat, but it's not combat.
But who says it can't be combat? What if we
you can still
because it seems like really stupid to have it be a combat skill.
Oh, I mean, I agree with that, but
that's
eventually we're gonna run out of non-combat skills.
Or if they can not add new adventures and they can just add stuff to existing, it's add more
I
content.
actually would really like if they did 6 missions, where they combined groups of 6, so 2 of the trios did a mission together.
Quintuplet, or wait, what is it?
Sextuplet missions.
Sextuplet missions.
You have to roll for that
Sextet
kind of thing.
missions.
And then it all culminates in a 12-person mission.
Oh jeez.
Oh my god.
Finding the Elder Horn.
That seems like the makings of a gigantic...
Rune Labs post?
Yes. We'll go with that.
I had this idea a couple days ago. What about Ports Sagas, where you can talk to them and play through the trio missions, actually go there and play them?
That'd be interesting.
So
pretty much fighting Quinn and so on.
So pretty much a Wushanko quest.
Yeah, I really
more or
want a
less.
Wushanko quest. Okay.
I'd prefer to go there at least once before we do the sagas. At least once, just to the Ark.
Well, we can go. So
to Bill Rock Storage Room Island or whatever it's called.
They do.
Yeah. How the fuck did Bill Rat get there? He didn't have a ship. portal.
Well, when
Milrock
they do
is everywhere.
He's a large rat.
Well, when next month has a large Rune Labs thing, we can start spamming Rune Labs about...
That's next month.
I know, that's why I said next month.
But of course, next month
Avernic,
is...
shout out to Avernic. He's waiting for an extra large update month, and then he's gonna submit actually making the first group of islands and area you can visit. So, I'll be supporting that.
I will be supporting that as well, assuming it's well written. If it's not, make it well written and I'll support it.
But of course, next month is Rite of Passage Hype Train month.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Where everybody submits Rite of Passage and it gets torpedoed again and again.
Armadillions!
I'm going to support Rite of Passage, but I want to beat Rite of Passage because I have other things I want more, like Desert Quest.
Desert Quest hype. I would
Workshop, please. Actually, Penguin Quest. That's actually what I want.
Or a large
update.
Well, it depends. What if we go to
the next Penguin Quest would be either expert or master, I think.
Yeah, it'd either be an experienced or a master. Let me check actually.
If a Penguin Quest
and it would probably take us to Acheron, which means it would probably end up being a large update.
Yeah. Wait, Gordon, if it ends up being a medium update, we can suggest 2 Penguin Quests.
Okay.
Something like it cold is...
I think it's experienced.
Looks like an experienced.
Because we hadn't had an intermediate quest in years.
Yeah, let's suggest 2.
It is an intermediate quest, I believe.
Anyways, we should probably move on.
Okay.
But yeah, so long story short, Ports is great, and next month's Rune Labs we'll see quest suggestions for said Ports things. So support them.
No. Avernic is waiting for an extra large for...
Is extra large even a thing?
Yeah, it is.
Have they confirmed?
Eventually. Yeah, Some Like It Cold is experienced.
Someday we will.
No, have they actually confirmed that extra large is actually...
Yeah, it's in the list of what examples of this kind of content for when we ask for it. Extra large is one of the examples.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Wait. Before we go, while we're on that subject, we, to all of the lore community, we need to just stop quests the entire time so that we can get, a year with 15 quests.
I would be perfectly okay with this.
Yeah. I would be very happy with that. Oh, I'm submitting 2 quests next month for 2 shots at winning a quest.
Actually, I should do that too.
I'm throwing in Crocodile Tears, which is the next desert quest, and then Phantom of the Bonanza, a Phantom of the Opera parody set in the circus.
We'll have some stuff about that for our next Rune Labs podcast,
which will be next week, I think.
Oh, it is?
Should be.
I think the quest or the poll goes up soonish. So
hey, you gotta help me with the
creator.
Okay, so that port's being done. We're going to now move on to some of the other stuff that happened in February that was not called Dat Quest. Demon Flash Mobs was reworked. They do extra stuff. They spawn every other hour instead of once every hour, but they have better drops, and they also give drops. They also have a couple super rare drops that are tradable, like titles. We mentioned this before, and
new pet or new familiar, new piece of Dead Quest.
But of course,
yeah.
So that's a thing.
However, they actually spawn every hour now. That was patched.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yep. I had to check that, but yes, it was patched.
Okay, and yeah, their health and defense have been reduced, which makes it easier to do it in small groups. In larger friends chats, it's hard to get to them in time, but that's not such a big deal. Also, this last month was the return of the Wildy Worm, so return of dead content. Can you tell how excited I am about wilderness content?
So excited.
You are so hyped, man.
So hyped. Lava Strike Worms, Slayer task for level 94 Slayer in the Wilderness, soon to be on my permaban list. Assigned by Cordell and Morvaran.
I think you have to buy into them, don't you?
Oh, do you?
Nope.
No.
It's a part of the regular rotation.
Oh, well.
Huh.
Out then,
Damn.
permaban it is. Can be killed off of assignment, unlocked by default, unlocked by default, thus forcing a use of a block slot. Yeah. Rip. It uses all 3 combat styles and AoE attacks. And did I mention it's in the wilderness, so other players can go and bother you?
Oh, and it's in a single-player combat zone. So, if you're in combat with a worm, someone can run up to you, attack you, and then sometimes you can't attack them back because it claims you're in combat with the worm.
Love it. To be fair, some of the weapons that they have kind of cool specials that some of them look unbelievably broken. We mentioned this, I think, in the last podcast, but the wildy worm whip, or whatever the hell it's called. What is it called?
The lava whip.
Oh, it's right, it's the lava whip. It could have been named anything better, but it ended up with the lava whip. The lava whip special, you
literally
whip somebody and you pull it to you.
The name is there in the fucking component. Worm spine, worm heart, worm scalp. But no.
Spike.
The lava whip, the staff of darkness, and the Dumbo, because I can't remember what its name is.
The strike bow.
I needed to make the pun.
The Dumbo. Oh my god. But yeah, rants aside, it's a cool weapon design, it's a cool weapon thing, everything except the name.
Even the graphics are really good looking, but the name sucks. Fix it.
Why did you name it that?
They asked people for suggestions, and there were so many great suggestions, but the first post was Lava Whip, so they chose it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because logic.
Decision of the people.
Hey guys, I'm gonna buy my new epic weapon. What's it called? I've got these really cool, seismic singularity. I have a lava whip.
My abyssal whip is better than yours.
How do you even hold
it? They also drop Searing Ashes.
Abyssal whip is cooler than that.
Which are the best ash in the game, giving nearly as much XP as Frost Dragon Bones. They also drop Fury Sharks, which heal up to 2,475 life points in combat and 28 out of combat. And they protect an extra item on death for a minute, although you can't surpass the 5-item cap. So, yeah.
They were talking about fixing it so you actually can surpass the cap, and they now work outside of the wilderness too, which is pretty awesome.
That's good.
But they're untradeable, so if you want them, you have to go get them.
Also, Lime would like everybody to know that he has a dinosaur.
Thank you, Lime.
Thanks, Lime.
Back to you at the desk.
Yes!
I don't know how you said that on the cast, but okay.
Because I saw it in chat. Anyways. Also last month was a responsive combat and aggression update, so abilities activate faster but have longer cooldowns to make up for it. It doesn't change DPS much, but it is a thing. It makes it a little bit more awkward to use thresholds on Revolution.
I was just about to mention that.
But
it actually just makes it more awkward to use thresholds in general, because they don't like to cast. If you're trying to cast it first, it goes, I think I'm gonna auto-attack first, and then it might cast.
Also, lesser demons, greater demons, black demons, banshees and mighty banshees, aberrant specters, lizards, desert lizards, small lizards, Kurask, harpy bug swarms, skeletal wyverns, brine rats, mutated bloodvelds, dark beasts, hill giants, fire giants, and moss giants are all aggressive now. So basically everything but dragons. Unlike old aggression, only one of them can attack you at a time if you don't target more than one of them, which is nice. They'll be aggressive unless your combat level is more than twice theirs, just like in old times, or until you've stayed in the air for longer than 5 minutes, also just like old times. So basically it's just kind of going back to the way it should be, honestly.
Yeah. No more evolution of legacy aggression.
That's all we have to say about that.
That's really all we have to say about that. Okay, anyways. Let me write down time. As we move on into Dishonor Among Thieves, also known as Dat Quest.
Dat Quest.
So,
Chaos.
before we start spamming about lore, I do want to mention that Evolution of Doors has made another appearance, and Scumbag Slisky kills Guthix, and then uses a balance door.
An even more balanced door than the balanced door.
Yep. But yeah, I think in general, before we go into much of anything, I think we're all in consensus that it's a very good quest. Like, I think we all enjoyed it. There are some issues mechanically that Jagex is very well aware of, and that they're looking at going and fixing.
The stealth mechanic, it was very well intentioned.
I really liked the idea of it, and I thought generally it was pretty good. It just needs to be debugged a little bit.
With stealth? Which stealth?
Yeah, stealth.
I'm a roll all over the place.
Oh, that one. Oh, that. Like the part where you're navigating the whatever with Gerard.
Was I the only one rolling around muttering, parkour?
Parkour. Yeah, that was what I did.
Do it for the vine.
I don't think
you were raging every time you got peekabooed.
Who was?
No, I died laughing the first time they went.
I was making a joke, don't worry.
I was not expecting peekaboos, I'll say that.
Peekaboo,
yeah, that was really strange. Like, they caught me and they turned around and go, peekaboo!
I have to say I was not expecting that either. I was like,
okay.
I was expecting like a scream or something, and instead I got
a Modana scream? A Modana torture room scream? Or maybe just a picture of the chair.
Yeah, just the chair flashes dramatically onto your screen.
If any of you have no idea what we're talking about, go back and watch the, what is that? Was it
your
Broken Home one in the podcast, or was it just in my run-through? Either way,
I think we mentioned it in the cast, too.
I think we mentioned it in the cast. Yeah. But go back and watch through my run-through of Broken Home. It is on my YouTube channel. It is on this YouTube channel, I guess I should say.
I would like to request something for the Solomon store, the ability to override all of the guards in that quest as the chair. I offer 200 rune coins. Let it be done.
I would support this. But yeah, it is also the quest that taunts, it is another quest that taunts Geena that Geena cannot into Shadow Realm.
Yep, many times.
Other people can into Geena into Shadow Realm, but
wait, Geena herself cannot into Shadow Realm.
Also Khazard. Khazard can't into Shadow Realm.
Right.
Yeah.
Khazard can't
on a legitimate lore note, though, that was a really interesting twist that Slisky has basically locked all the Majorat out of the Shadow Realm.
But not the penguins.
Not the penguins.
But not the penguins. The penguins are fine.
Penguins still come and go.
Penguins don't give a damn.
I had the funniest conversation in the clan chat where someone goes, I think I've finally figured out who Slisky was the entire time. And then they say he's the ghost penguin. So he's been watching us watching him.
Like you always thought.
So he's Jazz?
Like somebody's watching me. Yeah.
Okay. Jeez.
So in the seventh day, will the seventh day start with a quest where you have to watch Slisky watching you, watching him, watch you?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was a dialogue option in the...
Yeah, that was a dialogue option, wasn't it?
Wait, what?
I can't remember.
In the quest.
Where?
Watching you, watching me. Or I know that you know that they know.
Yeah, that's the one they did. And you just go, wait, what?
But yeah, so there's that. I think we'll talk a little bit about mechanics before we go really too spammy about lore. We mentioned the stealth room. There was some minor issues there, and it's mostly just inconsistent, just hard to tell where that shadowy fog thing is. It's you can't even tell what it is at first. It's like
if you try and do it by rolling, you need literally tick precise timing. However, if you just walk after it, you can do it perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Or you just roll like a pro here, like I did.
They see me rolling.
Okay.
I really liked the mechanics of that.
Like that.
There was a lot of cool ideas in there.
I don't know why they did that rolling thing though. It really doesn't really.
Especially
it came out of nowhere. I was kind of confused. But
it'd be
oh my god!
If they did like Agility Arena style of like mini scenes of you, like, doing rolling and stuff.
Imagine if they took the old Rogue's Den and redid it using those rolling.
Oh, jeez.
And just rolled everywhere.
Yeah. You don't see me, I am a ball.
Rolling.
Yeah. Oh, no. But it was cool. Like, it felt kind of action-y and kind of reminded me of a Bond film, weird shit like that. I liked it. It was annoying when you'd roll into a room and a peekaboo dude was facing the other direction and just goes, "I see you," even though he's
and
not
you're like,
facing you
"God
at
damn it, what?"
You weren't even looking at me. If you heard me, just say you heard me, not that you saw me. It's unfair,
Don't
you asshole.
to testing bot watch on the players.
Okay, so there's that one. Then with the balance door that
balance door was amazing.
Joked about earlier. It actually was surprisingly difficult to keep track of everything that was going on. Cause you had to keep one eye on the door, you had to keep one eye on the other doors, you had to keep looking for guards with Gerard, and then you had to also search their minds with Moya, and it was a lot of things to keep in front of you.
I feel like I missed out because they didn't change doors on me. They actually didn't change doors for a whole 5 minutes or so I spent running through that.
So
actually, my successful run, they never changed doors.
Mine changed doors
and they were like changing
times.
every 2 seconds. And then my last one, it was just like, okay, we're gonna chill in these 2
So,
doors.
I don't think they can change
every 2 seconds. I have a couple theories as to what happened here. It's like, one, somebody really likes me. And two, was the red berry pie. This red berry pie saved several people today. Well,
you walked over there and
Darwin Jesus.
You walked over there and just dropped a red berry pie in front of one of the doors.
No, I carried the red berry pie with me through the quest, and while I was making it, someone else was struggling with the door, and as we talked through the steps of making the pie, they solved it. And that's how we.
What is the story behind this red berry pie?
It is a most completely random thing. I was just listening to.
It's not random. It's the most delicious food in RuneScape. Loved by dwarves and humans alike.
Okay.
Go, Geena.
Yeah, I was just watching someone else do the quest, and I was bored because I wanted them to listen to me do the quest right afterward, and I didn't know this door was holding them up so much, so I'm just wandering around and like, hey, red berries, let's make a red berry pie.
That is such a Geena thing to do, too.
Like, I solved it.
So you just carried it around with you the entire run.
So I said, I'm gonna take this with me for good luck. And then my first run on the door, nothing, I don't have to do the Oracle noob stage.
Yeah, that was the part that got me killed the one time, or that failed me the one did I fail once or twice?
It failed me twice.
3 times, and then I got really angry because you figured out everything.
Yeah, you got like really
you did quite fast with all the mechanics in place.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just a question, the door is just a question of focus, and then the other one is just a question of, like, getting lucky with your tick timings.
Yeah. I basically got down like a little pattern where I would do an action and then I would check on the doors, and then I would do an action and then I would swap them or check on the doors or whatever.
Yeah, it's more or less what I was doing.
That's really all it takes.
Yep.
It's just a question, again, it's just a question of focus, like, yeah. Okay, anything else we wanted to, the boss fight. So, that was interesting.
So Runic got PTSD from that boss fight.
Why did Runic get PTSD from that
because
boss
of the
fight?
spider attack.
Webs.
Oh,
That eraser mechanic.
Well,
I was actually a little upset. I didn't get to experience all the boss mechanics because I killed it too fast.
What?
How did you manage
Apparently
that?
there's this whole final stage part, like when he turns into the demon thing, there's like shadow portals and so on. But he walked up to melee me, and then I used 2 thresholds. My ring saved both the threshold energies, and then I just sunlighted him, and he stood in the sunlight and died like a couple seconds later.
Holy crap! Yeah,
it was pure RNG, but
yeah, he rolled.
Afterwards, I was told there was more mechanics, and I'm like, shit, I wanted to try those.
Yeah, he spam healed against me. I was like, God, stop summoning freaking portals.
Yeah, that's what he did.
I prayed for DP.
I managed to out-hit his healing.
I had to pray for DPS. No, not really.
On the RuneScape wiki, it says that the... Oh.
Yeah, I have another story behind that one. So this someone I was talking about did the quest on a real level 61, as that's the recommended combat.
Oh, it's this, yeah.
Yep. We'll just throw it in here. But
yeah, we mentioned that
boss was so difficult for them, they couldn't out DPS the healing that it took while they were killing the portals. This person actually ran right out of food, prepared to die, and then won. Chaos saves the day.
Chaos.
Okay,
Siroki, go.
That was actually his plan. Oh, sorry.
What was I even? Oh, so on the RuneScape wiki, they talk about they call the boss the Foreshadow. Is that what it's actually called? I know it goes by our name, but is that the official name?
Yeah, there's 3 stages for it. There's Foreshadow, there's Inner Demon, and then there was another one.
There isn't another one. What
I don't think there was another one.
There's only 2 stages.
I think there's only 2 stages.
I thought there were 3.
Yeah, there was a Raxor stage, and then there was the Demon stage.
Unless you consider when we went around with Nomad and just wrecked people as a stage of the boss, but I don't think that's
good point. I guess it was just 2 stages, because there was Foreshadow, and then Inner Demon. Yeah, that's right.
Is it, I do wonder, is it possible to fail with Nomad? Like, is it possible to do nothing for long enough that somebody dies?
I feel like someone tried to let everyone die and it just didn't work.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, since I've heard literally nobody say anything about it, I'm gonna say no.
Fair enough.
But that's what I was afraid of, so I was like, I didn't even get, I didn't use the special attacks, so I was just spam clicking the whites to make sure no one actually died.
I was spamming the specs because they would kill all of the whites around one of the guys in, like, one hit.
After the world wakes, I basically, I'm taking no risks when people are in danger anymore.
You just lay mines and everything dies. And it's just like, okay.
I ran around going, these killed me once! And just kept spamming the mines everywhere.
And I'm like, isn't he supposed to lay them in a square and then I'm supposed to run into them?
Pretty much. It's so nice to not be the one getting blown up, yeah, pretty much.
I know.
Okay, so we mentioned mechanics, evolution
and before
of
we
doors,
forget that puzzle.
Of course.
That puzzle, the caves was really cool.
Oh yeah,
that
puzzle,
really
yeah.
good. That
was that the one that you were like, oh, I got that really quickly?
Or it's the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got that.
Everyone just spammed me, actually read the thing, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I read the thing and immediately knew what to do. There was only one that I tripped up on briefly, and then I figured it out.
I only tripped up on that because I thought it went literally, there were only 4 caves and would have each line. I didn't know it was line by line. That's the only thing I messed up on.
I couldn't figure out what the puzzle was until the second try, and I was like, oh. And then I got tripped up on the last one, but that was it.
Which
I got
last
tripped
one?
up on the one with the masks, and that was it.
It's a light and dark combined. Makes gray.
I got lucky on the masks.
I knew that one immediately, but...
I got lucky on the
masks. I got lucky on the masks. I was between 2 of them, and I was like, I guess I'll choose this one.
The mask thing was really obvious. The only one I had to ask for any help with was the light and dark, and they said, oh. Okay.
And I'm sitting there going, light and dark make...
I feel like it said Geena cannot...
White and black combined to make... what color?
Shade.
Small child.
Pink.
Yes, exactly.
A fine shade of salmon.
A fine shade of
salmon. Does spam
work?
Spam
works. It is...
light and dark combined to make 50 Shades of Bruises.
Yep. Anyways, moving on.
50 hours of trying to roll away from
the lore.
Oh, before we get to the lore, I do want to say that there was no Geena option in this quest.
No.
So there was no chance for Geena to spam even harder than she probably already was. So rip Geena.
Okay, let's say that the first thing actually killed my spam.
Rip.
Yes. It's why does every other real god get an option, and then you do this to me?
Talking about bowing, by the way.
Yes, there is an image. It should be here.
Because
you mean the Geena fail bowing thing?
What?
What are we talking about?
We're talking about all kneel to the Lord of the Shadow Realm or something.
Ook, ook, ook.
Yeah, I just decided to not hurt my back that quest and never bowed or kneeled.
I was like, screw you, Zamorak, I don't like you.
They didn't give me a choice.
Because Siroki is not a god, therefore you can't show obedience to him as a deity.
Or can you?
God emissaries, though. Speaking of that, though, Ballor told me that apparently if you asked him if he was a god, post Fate of the Gods, the dialogue at the start with Slisky is a little bit different.
Yeah, you don't get the option to ask him, how did you pull me into the Shadow Realm? If you're a god, you shouldn't be able to affect me.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't get that.
Oh, I got that.
I don't.
I got that because that was not the question I asked him. I was really curious what his favorite color was, so. No, that wasn't what I asked, but seriously.
Zap, zap.
But yeah, apparently that was pretty cool that they referenced that. I liked that.
I feel like at the end, the favorite color thing is going to be the only question that doesn't get answered in any other way.
Probably.
Yeah, really.
Are you sure?
Well, look how many are already basically answered by this point.
Can we get a new
Master
Master
Light?
Light?
What's your favorite color?
A new light or dark. Make it turquoise.
Anyways, we're gonna, now we can actually talk about the lore, because it's not like this quest was all about the lore or anything.
No, definitely not.
No, definitely not.
We certainly didn't get enough of it, like, however many bombshells it was.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
So,
could have been so much better.
So where do we want to start?
Ballor.
Let's start with Bill. With the strange power.
Okay, 1. Told you all he's alive. 2.
You failed so hard, man.
Okay, Fang.
I failed somewhat. I was kind of right.
Your theory exploded at the last moment.
We were right that Billrak was alive. We were right that it wasn't him or Moya that got sacrificed. So
we were also right that he did require the ritual stone for something, and that the strange power was worldwide, and that it wasn't a Majorat.
It was who was it again? It was the
Shelon Ma.
Shelon Ma. God,
which was actually
war leader
very well
thing.
Foreshadowed in Fate of the Gods, so I was pretty proud of that.
Wait, how was it foreshadowed in Fate?
Shelon Ma,
if you did Majorat Memories and you brought the engrameter there, it says something mighty Shelon Ma.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then it explodes.
Couple ammo.
Let me actually get the exact quote just to be correct about it.
And then the explosion from the engrameter then causes us to never be hit by lightning. I don't know.
Zap, zap.
It reduces the damage you take.
Yeah, that thing.
It goes, mighty Shelon, why did you? And then it explodes. So well foreshadowed. I really appreciate that. Because it was overloaded with power because of how powerful the Shelon Ma was.
That was just like too many Majorat-like things there that I was like, ugh, and then it exploded.
Well, no. This one Shelon Ma basically took the power of every other Shelon Ma.
So that's what happened.
I mean, there were also other beings who were there who could have had memories there, so it was probably like, oh, too much?
Or
maybe
it
was even though.
It was very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that bit of foreshadowing there. It was just another kind of point that Billrak was alive. And then he was. His story was very cool. It's something I really, really hope we get to see when Floor 61 quest eventually happens.
So you mean never?
Soon.
When Floor 61 quest doesn't happen.
Soon.
Yeah, it's soon. It's very soon.
But it doesn't happen.
It's gone onto the trash heap along with Rite of Passage and all those other rejected ideas because fuck the polls.
Fairly well
we might be getting Rite of Passage soon.
Trademark.
Thanks next month. Vote Phantom of the Bonanza.
Vote spellcrafting. No, vote penguins.
Penguins.
Vote penguins. Vote penguins.
Penguins.
But yeah, so Billrak just revealed a lot of really interesting lore about himself, what happened in Daemonheim, but there was still quite a bit of mysteries left. I mean, there's still the whole Acolyte thing, and there's just still a lot to learn about, the events of Floor 61 and the Rift and how they got into it, because previous journals kind of implied that he couldn't just go into the Rift, so he did something with Moya to get in there.
They just set up a campfire outside and just waited. They just hung out.
Yeah.
They sacrificed the chaos cookies to the Rift.
They say, Nope. Anyways, nope. Stop, Fang. Stop. I will kick you from the call.
Chaos.
Dang, I swear on me mom.
Punch you in the gabber.
Lunch.
Moving on. Next up.
Moya.
We swear on the
separated
gabber
from Bilrak.
you with the punch.
So, each of them thought the other was dead, which was certainly interesting.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah, that was interesting. Cause they both, yeah.
They both stepped in and they're like, well, you're gone.
Rip.
Yeah. I found it funny how they mentioned that they held hands and stepped into the rift and still got separated from each other.
Well, I mean, yeah. Let's see here. So we also got stuff about the Fail Majorat, Khazard. We got a lot of stuff about him. That
his mom got wrecked by lime butts.
Suggested that he may be less fail than we thought, unfortunately.
But his mom still got wrecked.
Yep.
Yeah, we found out how Palkira died, and we found her body. Also, and then we found out that she died writing a journal to Khazard and was unable to finish the word Za.
So Khazard's father is Za.
Pizza.
Yes, pizza. Clearly.
It's Zamos, the genie of the Mystic Forge.
It's clearly Zord. It has Zanadra.
Zanadra, yeah.
You know, it's Zaf.
Zaf, Battle Stave Master.
No. Khazard is actually just the rightful heir to Zero's Bakery.
Where's that picture?
All this time, he should have taken up baking. He has a cooking level of 99.
Khazard the Baker.
I actually have a picture of the IRL Zero's Bakery.
Does that mean he's
Remember when everyone thought the pie guy was a Majorat?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is he's going to give the pie guy a run for his money for a Majorat-based bakery.
Probably
Eli Bacon is the secret Majorat, we all know this.
Of course.
Of course. And the Easter Bunny, never forget the Easter Bunny.
And the penguins.
Don't leave
all
them
of
out
the
of
penguins. All the penguins are exactly one Majorat.
Yes.
No.
They are all Siroki, deep down.
Zeros is actually just two penguins on top of each other in a hoodie.
That is acceptable as well.
Vincent, adult man. Oh my god, you watched it! Yes! Someone else got it!
Vincent Van Jack.
Vincent
BoJack Horseman, if you guys
best
haven't
character, swear to God.
Yes.
Zero's Bakery. Yeah, I was there, Lime. I was actually there. I have a picture of the IRL Zero's Bakery.
Oh my god.
Did you get anything to eat?
No, I didn't.
You scrub.
It's in Central Station?
Yeah.
And I was in a hurry
great.
to get to class, so no, I did not in fact get anything to eat there.
But
I should have though. Damn it.
True Zero.
The baguette of jazz.
The sacred baguette of jazz.
Hang on, wait. It was founded in 1927, so it should be the baguette of jazz.
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 Oh god.
Smooth jazz.
I'm hunting around my screenshots and seeing if I can find it, but I don't think I have a screenshot on this computer, or at least not where I can find it. But yeah, so the Stone of Jazz, the catalyst to a good meal.
No, I was laughing at what Orange had.
Also, Zeros loves donuts. They're empty in the center. Oh my god.
And they're shaped like a zero.
And they're shaped.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Zero's Bakery. Anyways, back on topic. What else do we have to mention here? So we know that... What? Mahloaf. It's so terrible. Anyways.
Before the bakery.
And anyways,
I forgot.
we do actually need to get back on topic here.
Okay.
Apparently you can't ask Khazard for his solo dialogue options when you get Haziel first, and I think the reverse is true. So...
Wait, he has solo dialogue options?
Rip lost dialogue.
I didn't
According
know
to
that.
Walter, yes.
Interesting.
Oh, well.
Guess we're gonna need a few more replays to pick all that up.
Yep.
Really?
Wait, I have a... Well, wait, no, it's not a member. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have Saren, but she's not a member right now.
Let's say we could get, and then I can also check to see if Death, gets replaced by Frank, if you haven't done this. If you've done this before, complete an MPD.
Let's talk about, for a minute, the Death versus Nomad stuff.
That was amazing.
So,
that was pretty cool.
So for any of you who have forgotten or didn't do the quest, how dare you go do the quest? For any of you who haven't, when you get into Death's office to talk to when you're looking for Nomad, you get led into Death's office, and you get into Death's office, and they are having a Dragon Ball Z style laser war. Or not, actually, it is
more Harry and Voldemort myself.
Actually, okay, that works too. But they're having a laser war, and Death is trying to siphon Nomad's soul,
as payment.
As payment for not dying when he should have.
So, for payment for taking the souls of everything else.
And
yeah. I'm kind of thinking Nomad is like a cat. He just has a bunch of lives from all the souls he's eaten.
But everyone knows Death should have just kissed him and would have sucked the soul out of his mouth. He's clearly a Dementor.
He's clearly a Dementor.
I think you mean Demental.
Oh my god. Why?
Dementor.
Why? Anyways.
But that was such a cool scene. And it revealed a lot about Nomad that we didn't really get to discuss with him at all.
Also that Nomad suffered a completely personality shift. And I have a theory about why that happened.
Oh. Then why don't you tell us?
Well,
do go on, Lime.
But do go on.
When we saw him in Nomad's Requiem, he seemed like he was doing it for the good of something, for the good of something bigger. But now he just seems like he wants the power.
Like an asshole?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
My theory is that he's been searching for power this entire time, that he's kind of forgotten his original purpose, and Slisky mentions an addiction to power, like the Stone of Just power.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking that Nomad may just be addicted to power in general, and he's just lying to himself, saying oh, I'm doing this for the greater good, but no, he actually just wants power at this point.
Yep.
Chaos.
So it's not like Nomad's Requiem happened, and suddenly he's in a heist. He's been up to stuff for a long time now.
Which is why we should welcome him back into the Church of Zamorak.
Yeah. And also along those lines, you do have at the end of the quest, Nomad tries to swipe a piece of the Stone of Jas, and
I may or may not have let him.
I think I heard that you let him.
Yeah.
I don't think that any of the rest of us did, but if you didn't, you catch his staff and throw it back at him, and then Zamorak is like, no, and just zaps him. And of course he serve prods out of there.
Nomad gets carapacked by Zamorak.
Nope.
I kind of wish that I did let him now, because I kind of want to steal the Stone of Just piece for myself.
Yeah, get the Amulet of Jazz, please, Jagex. Let us have 255 skills.
You're a cat.
I hear a cat.
Damn cats.
Mew.
Yeah, there's a cat. But yeah, so that is in fact a thing. I did like that scene though, where he throws his staff at you and you're like, nope.
Time freezes and you're like, which one do I want to do?
My first thought was, oh, he got a new special attack.
Exactly, Frank, his time could be rewritten.
But yeah, I want him to have power because I'm kind of freaking insane. So, I let him go.
Then welcome to the Church of Zamorak.
Yes.
Of course you're fucking insane.
So yeah, I did let him go.
Well, you
No, I'm not singing it.
Chaos.
I refuse to sing it.
Good. No more songs.
The Seercast is a no singing
What about our musical
establishment?
episode? We've been scheduling it for so long.
That's the musical adaptation of Missing Presumed Death.
No. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh dear is right.
That is definitely
I'm
not
just a dragonkin, nobody loves me.
That is definitely not going to be our April Fools. That is definitely not.
Now we have to.
No. Every year when we're thinking of our April Fool's joke, that is the first thing that comes to mind, and we're all just like,
nope.
Not this year.
Nope.
Not this year.
Next.
Not this year.
Anyways.
Next year? No.
Okay, so what else do we have? What are our thoughts about the Lord Aquarius stuffs?
Lord Aquarius.
He apparently is not well liked.
Roundhouse kicks, just cause.
Yeah, I did roundhouse kick that guy because why not?
I noticed, one of the complaints that somebody put up on the forums regarding why they thought this quest was bad. There were a lot of people that were nitpicking like crazy about this quest and kept screaming it was bad. But anyway,
Wahi.
So all of Wahi. Okay, go on.
Anyways, go on.
But one thing I saw was the person was complaining that Aquarius walked to the bottom of Daemonheim and how that made no sense. And I was just like,
elevator.
Well, see, it was very heavily implied that Moya was meeting them outside and just like bringing them in. So I was so confused as to why they said that in the first place. And then
Daemonheim worked differently. Now Zami is back.
Yeah, but they posted dialogue that was supposed to support them. I'm like, all it says is that he walked to Daemonheim, not to the bottom of Daemonheim. So I don't know, but y'all need to stop being so nitpicky.
It was differently now Zami's back anyway. The old rules of who can and can't go down don't actually properly apply anymore. Which is how we just use the one quest without 120 DG.
I mean, it literally makes no sense for him to walk to the bottom of Daemonheim, and nothing in his dialogue suggests he did. So, he traveled to the castle, but then was met by Moya and brought down. There's not really any other way to set that up. So, yeah. But, his section was kind of irrelevant. He was there to be there, I guess.
I'd have taken Moverio.
Yeah.
I would have taken most people. I mean, I like him. He's an interesting, kind of funky character.
He's not a heist member, though. He's a commander.
He didn't really do anything.
Well, actually, his thing was supposed to be that he's, like, really well learned, I guess.
Yeah, he's an intelligent guy, but what did he really offer during the heist?
Oh, he got
a guy that
could literally could have done the heist with about half the people.
He was the one who inserted. He was the one who inserted the codes into the door, like the rune codes and stuff, which was apparently
once Moya the mind rapist nicked them from the undead.
Yeah.
Yes, we needed a specific person to put some codes in the door.
Of course.
Very valuable.
Who else was it going to be? Was it going to be us?
Don't be ridiculous.
Mario would have been better at it.
We could have used a trained monkey.
I did do it, Lime.
I was about to say that. Damn it, Siroki.
But legitimately, like, even Moverio has more putting codes into doors skills than Dicarius, because Moverio's base was at least guarded by codes indoors.
With runes on them, as it turns out.
Yeah.
And with this, we have evolution of doors confirmed. Anyways,
that is also not going to be our April.
We did
that last year.
Doors weren't difficult.
And even though it was amazing, we're not going to do it again.
Doordag.
Oh,
that is
sorry.
all. Doordag. Anyways, also, before we move on from the lore part of this, I do want to mention pretty much all of Zemrigal's dialogue is along the lines of, "This is me, I am amazing."
Yeah,
and it was
has an
hilarious.
Ego the size of a rock. It's awesome.
I like his giant hands. I don't know why, but that's my favorite part of this new thing.
Oh my god, though, seriously, the new character models for the characters that they redid were incredible.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
This is the first time we've seen new character models and maps and stuff that aren't, like, blurry.
Yeah, Zemrigul. So having Zemrigul, the updated Zemrigul, next to the completely outdated Inakra was like, oh man.
Was it just me that really doesn't like the way New Zemi looks in game?
Yes.
You are alone.
It was. I mean, don't say I wouldn't like it, but I
don't think he fits compared to all the other martial arts. I don't think
he looks like an arrogant asshole, which he is, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't fit compared to everything else. I know what you mean there.
Well,
it's
granted, it also
others will need to be updated, but he's going to be in the 200th quest, which is why they updated him in the first place.
Also they need to update Blue and Okra. I mean Valkyra.
I mean, that didn't really bother me. Yeah. I again saw the whole fight about it. It's a freaking
Let's not all talk over each other.
She's dead. They didn't need to do an all-new character model for her.
Yeah.
Of all the irrelevant rants.
Yeah.
They're using her for maybe a minute in a small section of a quest.
Don't forget that horrible hawthorn tree. Oh my god.
That was a thing?
Apparently there was a hawthorn tree in the final cutscene with,
yeah.
I can't even remember what that looks like.
And somebody whined about it.
It was, because I also saw, did you see that, Saradomin was in his sixth age outfit and not his third age?
I did see that. That was strange.
I also like Armadillo's, like rocking that outfit. That was also really cool.
Yeah. It was good that he wasn't in Phoenix mode yet.
Yeah.
Phoenix engaged.
As in, he would talk about it like 20 times in one sentence. But,
yeah,
you know what was actually really...
No, Zemi. You must be reborn like I was. Like, what? Reborn, like the from the actors. Spare me? No.
You know,
Phoenix.
I saw, there was I think it was also a thing, like someone didn't know that was Farin 3. They were like, it was like, what?
Yeah, it's in the dialogue, guys.
Yeah. They're like, where is this place?
Yeah, speaking of which, before we forget about this, we need to talk about the Stone of Jazz cutscene with Zami in the Farin 3 at the presumably at the end of the Third Age, at the end of the God Wars.
Yeah, because that's when he exploded it.
Yeah, that's when he that's when he kablammed it.
Boom!
So yeah, that was. There's a significant amount of dialogue with that was interesting, to say the least, regarding the politics of this choice of Zamorak. And was this because what had happened? Oh, this was because we touched the stone.
Yeah, right after we got out of Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Or no, to get out of Shadow Realm.
In Walter's words,
when we get to it.
In Walter's words, after beating the clones, in your infinite wisdom, you touch the stone. You have to touch the stone.
We were told we had to touch the stone upon going in, though.
Okay, so let's bring this up. We gained so much power from touching the stone this time, the only time we have absolutely no excuse for not knowing exactly what's going to happen when we touch it. And now we've gained the most power because we know how much power it will give.
I am an unstoppable
and how stabby the Dragonkin will be.
The Dragonkin are going to go ballistic, especially at Fang.
Yeah, because Nomad has a piece of the stone for me, so he's just running around going, I've got a little piece of the stone. Of course. The Dragonkin are gonna be like, who the fuck is poking the back of my head?
Of course, that's assuming that he can even use it. Like, even that's if true. He has a little piece of it, does that mean that he can use it? Well, not necessarily.
Oh my god.
Yeah, next quest, we fight him and we expect him to be like supercharged, and then he activates his special attack and he just throws the piece of it at you, it hits you, it bounce off you, does 1 damage, and he goes, "This is useless!"
I just, like, if it actually is a good, like, it has power in it, then just imagine the Dragonkin are just around the Stone of Joss and they can't figure out what's making them, what's happening.
I'm not poking you, I'm not poking you, I'm not poking you.
Oh my god, that's exactly how you piss them off, is break off a small piece, or no, shatter the Stone of Jas and just give a little piece to everyone.
Oh jeez. But they would know what would happen at that point.
What is going on?
You know, I'm wondering.
We know exactly what they would do then.
When they told us to go to the Shadow Realm to go get the Stone of Jas, what did they expect us to do? Like, just pick it up? Like, nothing.
Of course.
The Shadow Realm, of course.
I mean,
that's
it's
all
you walk up to it, and strength, you can pick it up and flex it like the big rock.
Yeah, I was about to mention the big rock.
I can't wait until we're eventually able to put it into our inventory.
Oh my god. This is like a giant, like,
So
we
rose in our pocket.
When am I allowed to pick up the giant statues?
But now, we pick up a stone that is about 4 times the size of us, and put it into our pack.
Of course.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we can already store, like, however many stacks of stuff in our inventory, potions and stuff.
Yeah.
Dead bodies, live bodies, people in barrels.
More than 28 fish. What if I put it into a paper? Here's 29 in 1 slot. Well, that's fine. Yeah, that works.
We can also put dead bodies, live bodies, people in barrels.
People in barrels. Anna in a barrel. I do want to say that in the thread, Walter says, empowered by the stone, you get to assist your team. You destroy the whites doing 20k hits and save them all. For some reason, I felt a rush at this point that I had to help my team, even though I only really cared for the safety of 2 of them, Lord Aquarius and Moya, before the quest. I blame good writing.
Yeah,
well done.
Exactly.
Seriously, I loved it. That's what I was really impressed with, was I went into it disliking most of the people that I was going to be working with, and by the end of it I wanted to make sure none of them died.
I went in
I still hate all of them.
Planning to betray them?
That's because you're crazy, Ballor. Come on.
And that's because Geena is Geena. So,
yeah.
You know.
And, well, it was nice talking to them, and now I'm a bit sad they all are gonna hate me now. That's just what it is being a joke.
So speaking of which,
Geena and I teamed up with Sliske.
So speaking of which, what all choices did you guys make for at the end of the quest?
So at the start,
Geena and I teamed up with Sliske.
At the start, I told Sliske I'd go along with it and see what happens, which apparently was the neutral.
That is what I did.
Then I went neutral.
I'm not telling you what I'm doing.
Take it all, Nomad. Take it all.
Okay.
Yeah. I told him I wasn't gonna tell him what I was doing, and then I sided with him.
No, of course. Okay, so Siroki, I don't think we have to even ask you what you did.
Chaos.
Yes. So Siroki,
no, it's interesting for me because all the characters, they started out on my backstab list, which every Zamarakian has one. It's nothing.
Of course.
New. And now they moved. Most of them have moved to my backstab later list.
Well, there's a distinction. Backstab now or backstab later?
Later. Backstab.
I would be quite happy to have let every single one of the team members die if I wasn't worried about Nomad.
Okay, never mind them dying, but that moment when guess who showed up and totally wrecked everyone.
Zap, 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 zap.
That was hilarious.
That was actually really cool. That was a really cool, like, where he's like punching them and like sticks them in the Shadow Realm, kind of. Yeah.
I think
it was like, it's 99
He vanished into the Shadow Realm.
I think the one thing I didn't like about the Nomad fighting bit, I just thought of this, is why the heck did we have to click the abilities at the top of the screen? Why didn't they replace them with like a unique ability bar?
Because Legacy.
Because you could just auto-attack the whites to death.
Yeah, does Legacy not have that option?
No. Because
they
Legacy
will in a month or two.
Oh, yeah,
but...
they will. But, yeah, so, Ernj, what did you do?
I took the boring option at the start of the quest and was like, I'll just see what happens, and Sliske was like, why?
Why you do this? What did you do at the end?
And then with Nomad, I was a little bit undecided because I didn't want to throw the spear back and accidentally kill him and then no more Nomad quest.
I don't think that was going to be the problem.
Like, you know what? Let's not have the power crazy person take apart the Stone of Jas, and yeah, I did my duty as a World Guardian.
And then with the choice between, what is it, Slisky, Zamorak, and Neutral, which one did you choose?
It's pretty much, who do you zap?
I was like, okay, get a big bowl of popcorn, get my chair, sit down, let's watch how this plays.
Yeah.
So, I'm still trying to get that through my head. Did I actually defend him from a serious attack?
I don't know, maybe?
Yeah, I went neutral just because I decided to let them zap it out between the two of them.
Yeah, I did.
Neutral, the Zamorak zaps Slisky.
And then Slisky grabs the stone.
If you zap Slisky, you both, shoot him, but then Zamorak's like, oh, he suffered mortal wounds. Probably not. And then the other one is Slisky's.
I doubt it was a mortal wound.
I highly doubt it. And besides, he has the Stone of Jas anyway, so he's like,
It was a mortal wound until I healed myself.
Yeah. Lime, what did you do?
Well, at the beginning, I told Slisky to mind his own business.
I'm sure that went
well. All the way back in Haziel Cult, apparently, I decided that I wouldn't help out Haziel. Apparently.
And back during Cook's assistant.
So there was that. That led to an interesting conversation with Haziel, where he couldn't figure out why he couldn't come back in time for the ritual. And I was like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you totally played innocent. I had the same thing.
And
you actually did nothing.
At the very end of the quest, I did not let Nomad get the stone, but I wish I did so I could steal it from him. But I didn't. And in a moment of pure hatred, I tried to decide which Mazrat I hated more. And I decided that Slisky was the Mazrat I hated more, and I zapped him.
Zap. Zap, zap.
So since none of you guys, nobody else actually let Nomad get away, what happened? Did he go for it, and then did you just knock him away from it, and he never even got to touch it?
You, do a squirrel thing, you throw the spear, he gets hit by it, and it's like, rah, 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 and then Zamorak shows up, and there's a cutscene where he's just like...
And then he tries to smash him, and Nomad...
No, and Zamorak is just like, get the hell away from the stone, you asshole, and goes, and Nomad teleports away. Because...
It's just like the ending cutscene of Battle of Lumbridge.
Pretty much.
For mine, I caught it, and then I didn't throw it, and I just stood there watching, and then he runs up, he grabs at the stone, and then apparently he just pulls a piece off. And then Zammy appears, knocks him down, puts the flame up, and then Nomad teleports away. So I'm assuming he has the piece, unless, Zamorak knocking him down knocked it out of his hand.
It got lost in the teleportation matrix.
Rip.
Yeah, so randomly we're just gonna have a random abyssal demon that's impossible to kill.
Yeah, I went with neutral at the beginning, neutral at the end, and I knocked the stone away from... I didn't let Nomad have any part of the stone.
You're also neutral.
Well, I'm sorry that I have no particularly strong feelings in one way or the other.
Do you strongly agree that you have...
Hey, I was the same way as you, so...
But, okay. So, is there anything else we need to mention about that quest? There's stuff that we want to mention, but we don't have time. So
there is one thing we do need to briefly discuss.
Okay.
Apparently, the quest lore failed.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
This is with Bilrak. He's talking about the ritual of rejuvenation in regards to how he got the Shelon Ma superpowered.
Oh,
talking about how the Ma Serat stopped the ritual. That's kind of technically I was looking into it. I didn't think it was at first, but it seems to be a lore fail because they don't need the ritual of rejuvenation for themselves.
I did notice that.
So I'm wondering if there's some kind of retcon in place, or if they've decided that the ritual was only not needed if Saren was around.
Hold on. But we know that the ritual was... We're talking to a Majorat here. We're talking to Bill. We don't know, or only Zeros knows, and Saren by proxy, know that the entire rejuvenation thing was was a ploy.
Yes, but remember, the Majorat, don't the Majorat know that they're channeling energy back into Saren as well?
No.
Or not Saren, into...
Nope. No.
Wait,
No.
It was just a ritual, it was just a, whatever they called it, the,
Ritual rejuvenation.
It was enervation, I think is what it was.
Yeah. Enervation was their sexy times, and rejuvenation was...
it was both, really.
Rejuvenation, Saren told us that rejuvenation was for, channeling power to Ma. But does that mean that the Majorat have always thought of it as a way to repower themselves?
It seemed very much like Saren never told them what exactly that was. And
that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that.
The ritual of enervation, they were told to do that to stop the earthquakes, I think was the thing.
But it was how they reproduced.
Yeah.
So it's sexy times.
Well, yeah, and then the ritual of rejuvenation, I think, was the exact same thing. But there was it to redistribute power, to sacrifice to, but they probably realized, this also repowers us, so...
The rejuvenation was to stop the Musta from coming, because that was supposed to give energy back to her so she could wake up, so that she wouldn't create more Musta. But then Musta, they kept going into doing it for a long time, that Musta just never showed up anymore, so they just kept doing it anyway. That's what the thing was.
When they left and they lost power because they couldn't get it directly from Ma. Yeah, I don't think that's a lore fail. I think there's something else that Walter mentioned that might have been a lore fail, or something lore fail-ish, but...
I originally agreed that it wasn't a lore fail, but then the more I was reading about it, the more I was like, okay, maybe they just got it wrong, but now that you mention that, that's a very good point. What Saren knew and what the Majorat knew were very different things.
Yeah. See, we know all that, we don't know all of it, but we know it from both sides, and... to us, of course it's a lore fail. Of course they weren't actually giving it to, but from their perspective, it could be seen as the same. So,
who knows?
The big guy, Walter says the fact that the big guy is so much weaker could, in theory, be a lore fail, unless they lowered animal levels, caused it to then drop. And I think that's what they're implying.
Remember, he's had thousands of years isolated with no rituals to bring himself back to full power.
Right, because he became the sole Chelon Ma before they left.
Yes, but remember, Bilrak's been using the portals to power himself up for ages. He does that to Moya as well.
So it's a combination
he's
of the
basically
fact that...
fully rejuvenated at all times. Also, I'm not so sure that the Chelon Ma knew what Bilrak was going to do. My assumption of it was, Bilrak is working with the Chelon Ma, says, hey, I'm going to get you off of this planet. He takes him back into Daemonheim, he turns his back, he shows him the ritual stone, and then Bilrak just slices him open and sacrifices him.
Yeah, I could see that. We don't really know, again, until we see a cutscene of this or something.
They were at war. No, there was no way the Chelon Ma went back willingly. They were at war. Bilrak will have just beaten him
thousands of years ago.
Because the mighty Chelon Ma, the single Chelon Ma, became that before they left in the second age of Gielinor.
Yeah.
And he was sacrificed in the fifth age of Gielinor. So
long-ass time ago.
Would still have been at war. Bilrak definitely beat him.
True. That's not the case, no. Bilrak and Moya, when they didn't go through the rift until the fifth age. And that's when Bilrak ended up on Fernesque, and he saw the battle between the Chelon Ma.
No, he said he was telling us that he was the sole Chelon Ma by the time they left.
Yeah, he was he gave us a history of the Chelon Ma.
Yeah, but he made it sound as if he was there during this fight.
Walter,
no, it was before, I think.
Walter, help!
I don't know, Walter.
This is what we have Walter here for. He was there.
No, agree with me.
He was there.
They were. There was no way.
So it was prior to the second age when this thing... I mean, it seems like... Because of we know that... How long were they on Frenesque before Eclairin and Amesgut showed up? The Majorat.
It's unknown.
Sometime between Zaros went there... No, wait, sometime before Saren or one of them went there and when they went back.
It was... I mean, let's be... Okay, so we know that... At the end of the last revision, Frenesque was drained. and Ma was born and stillborn. So there's no possibility.
I found it. The Shelon Ma did the opposite. They concluded that the strongest should live. Yes, one almighty being commanding the power of the entire tribe. I remember it. The battle blazed across the horizon of glorious. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but he talks about how they sacrificed other Majorot in those battles.
Yeah.
And, oh yes, I knew that after thousands of years, whilst the Majorot have grown stronger, the Shelon Ma would have diminished.
Yep.
With the Maseret all likely to have perished with no kin to sacrifice, he would have been able to would never have been able to rejuvenate. So basically, yes, that battle happened while the Majorot were still on Freneske.
And a long freaking time ago.
Yeah, Bilrak believed he would still be there, so he found this much weakened Shelon Ma and brought the Shelon Ma back with him as his captive and then sacrificed him. So he basically just sacrificed 100 different Shelon Ma at once. Thus the insanely wide-reaching power.
Mm. And they would have left while still at war. So, which was, I believe, the point you were trying to make. So yeah, they would have fought and Bilrak would have just gone, haha, you suck now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But, alright, so I think that covers what we wanted to mention for Dat Quest. If there's anything else, that we're missing, I know that some people wanted to hear us talk about Gerard, and some other people wanted us to talk about other things. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, and hard to cover everything. So, if you really want to hear anything else about it, shoot us a tweet on Twitter, put something in the comments, etc. Leave your feedback. Speaking of which, follow us on Twitter at Seercast. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and move on from this, and we're going to talk for very briefly about the aquarium, which was a concept. What did we call it? Design document.
Design document.
Yeah, it's a design document.
It's actually they've actually gone pretty far into the development of it, according to the stream.
But yeah, so we're going to talk briefly about the aquarium. It's what we were expecting for the most part, but at the same level, it seems very well balanced for super high level players, which is very nice.
It's also really big. I didn't expect it to be that big.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's practically efficient.
I do hope they take into account its effects on the dungeon. I'm pretty sure they will, but you just never know.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure.
But so basically, you while you're fishing, you have a chance of finding a golden fish egg, and this fish takes about 3 hours to get one at level 99, but they don't know what the odds are at low levels. And that egg can then be added to your aquarium to add the fish into your aquarium. You have to have the exact level to catch them too, so you can't boost to catch them. And then you can also get these prawn balls and crackers to help players increase their chances of
getting eggs.
Getting the golden fish eggs. Mm-hmm. Every 2,500 life points of a fish you catch, if it would be cooked, will award the player with either a prawn ball or a prawn cracker. You can also get prawn points, which unlock various things, such as the ability to fish without bait in certain locations.
Which means panic cell living rock minerals.
Yep. And the prawn
I don't think
items,
those are affected, are they?
That you can turn them off at the prawn broker in your player-owned house aquarium by right-clicking on a prawn item. And you can't get prawn items unless you have an aquarium built.
Never mind, ignore what I said. Panic cell feathers, though.
Yeah. And bait. And then there's two parts to the room itself. There's the upper part, and then there's the actual aquarium, which you can go into. There are things that you can put in there, such as a treasure chest, which once a week you can get an elite clue from. There's the mermaid purse, which gives you some money once a week. Stuff like that.
They're diving suits.
Also, the diving suits let you go in. Also, once you've gotten all the fish, you can prestige it, which resets all the fish, and you can unlock the various diving suits as cosmetic overrides using that.
Knew they'd get a good use for prestige in there at some point.
I know, right? But yeah, there are 18 prawn perks, and you're going to have more prawn perks than you do. There's going to be 21 prawn perks and 21 prawn perk points and 18 prawn perks, and the extra 3 points can be traded in for 10k fishing XP each.
Yep. And there's different tiers of rewards as well from the what is it from? For the perk tree.
Making prawn items more frequent, fishing without fishing bait, gain a landmark of your choice for your aquarium, and 10x prawn pennies. And up to tier 6, which allows you to make that shark sushi.
And, rocktail soup will be buffed to make sure that the sushi is not better than rocktail soup. So, yay.
And apparently, baron sharks might be buffed a little bit too with the gumbo as well. But, these new, the sushi is made from a new great white shark, which you can catch while shark fishing.
Maybe shark fishing will be worth it? No, probably not.
Yeah, and there's a shark pet, apparently, that's going to happen. Like,
because why not?
Next year. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And
hey, I wonder.
There's new kelp, which you can pick in your aquarium, as well as seaweed, which is useful. Great Maki requires seaweed, which is one of the 2 new sushis. 84 cooking, 150 XP, initial heal of 2100, with 3% of your pair regained every second afterwards, up to 15%. And then the Great Gunkin, which requires kelp, and is 91 cooking with 180 XP, initial heal of 1500, but then you gain 150 life points every second afterwards, up to 2350.
And
you can also raise your life points up by an extra 15%.
Over maximum.
Over max, correct. And that's it, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's a rather large design document, and we can only briefly mention it, but it is it on the home page, or do you have to go hunting for it?
If you go into the Dishonor Among Thieves, it's down at the bottom.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you want to see more about it, it is quite interesting, and just go and read over the design document, because it's pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to it when it shows up. When was this one? Is this like early summer?
Something like that. We're not really quite sure when it's coming out, so we'll probably just talk more about it once it shows up at ATS.
Yeah, that's what.
I wonder if they're going to, since they're going to like add the great white shark to barehanded fishing. I wonder if they're going to because in barehanded fishing, when you catch the fish, you see it like being caught, like you pulling it out of the water. I wonder if they're going to use a new model for the great white shark.
It'll probably be recolored
or something.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm. But
originally the requirement was 99 to catch it, and they've lowered it apparently.
Yep. All right,
which is nice.
So that is the aquarium. The last stuff that we want to talk about is the March BTS. We want to briefly cover what's in it. We've known about Dimension of Disaster, which is the 200th quest, for quite a while now. We've talked about it multiple times in the past, so we're not going to mention much except that it is finally here. It's happening. Where's that Ron Paul thing?
It's happening.
It's happening.
Where is that? Okay, it's happening. Also coming this month is Boss Practice Mode. I think that's this week. Is that next?
Actually, hang on. There is more information about Dimension of Disaster. Oh. They managed to fit Gertrude's cat into a task set.
Oh god, yeah, they did mention that.
I forgot about that until right now. So yeah, that's happening as well.
That
so
is
we
also happening.
We get 5 quests in a task set.
Yay!
That's awesome.
Boss Practice Mode, we mentioned this briefly last month, I believe. I think that's coming out. I think that's the first update in March. Basically, Boss Practice Mode, exactly what you'd expect for practice at bosses to help lower the entry barrier, I guess you could say. And along with that, I think it's also, there's a lot of changes to instancing and like how easy it is to join and leave an instance. So you can teleport out of an instance after 40 minutes of your hour and then come back and still finish the last 20 because after you restock and stuff.
Yeah. I think Runic would kill me if we didn't mention how amazing that's going to be for people that do Araxor.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
There's also going to be the beta servers are going to come back up with the death system rework, which I believe we talked about. Which is
we hated on it last cast.
I don't think we hated on it though. The death system rework?
It's pretty bad though. It's pretty bad.
It's not that bad. I like it.
I enjoy it. I think
if
it's
I die,
necessary.
I don't want to be paying several million to reclaim my items.
Well, that's too bad. You shouldn't die.
Yeah, pretty much. I would rather pay several million and have no risk of losing them, rather than straight lose them.
Well, basically, there's a lot of problems with it. For example, if you bring 2 sets of armor, you're completely screwed.
Well, you're completely screwed anyway.
Why would you even 2 sets of armor?
If you're weapons or armor swapping.
Armor swapping.
There's lots of problems with it, but hopefully those will be cleared up come the end.
Those
of
also aren't possible to fix, though. Like, they're just
they've said they're looking into it, so
they're just
I'm hoping
problems that, in general, that I don't think have anything to do with the death system. They just have to do with the combat itself. The legacy interface with an action bar. I actually lolled at that.
With standard combat. I've forgotten how bad the adrenaline bar looked.
A new drop pickup system, which seems like it might be useful to get multiple piles of loot with one click. But if you don't want bones, then who knows?
Bone Crusher.
Yeah, I guess Bone Crusher's a thing. And also we are having the Skill Cape rework finally, and that is coming this month. Yeah. So.
Also Easter.
Oh yeah, the Easter's right at the end of the month as well.
So another Majorat quest?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yep.
So we're gonna have 3 Majorat quests in 2 months. Got him. Anyways.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so that covers everything we wanted to mention. This one's a little bit longer because of Dat Quest, but I guess it should be expected. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be back probably next week with a Rune Labs edition. I'll do that in a similar way to the way I did it last week. You guys had a lot of feedback about that. I did see all of it, and I appreciate it. But yeah, so we'll be back next week. We're going to be releasing a Rune Tomes episode this week as well, so check that out. Refer that to...
We're gonna record it like right now.
Yeah. Refer that to, or refer to your friends who cannot into lore, or want to get into it, but are having issues getting past the gigantic entry barriers that exist. Refer them to that. It'll be on the YouTube channel as well. And
yeah, that's it.
Yep, that. Thanks, Lime.
I was
back to you at the desk.
Well, what I was gonna say is that the Rune Tomes, for all those who pointed out that we do know a bunch more stuff, it's designed for people who have not yet done quests. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to make it pretty spoiler-free.
Or spacebar spammed through them.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be pretty spoiler-free, so you know the backstory before going into the quest, mm-hmm. but you don't know, for example, say that Bilrak actually lived.
Yep. Which you now know. Spoiler alert. No.
Well, the spoiler alert is inherent here.
Yeah, I know.
But not in the Rune Tomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we hope you guys enjoyed it, and I suppose we will see you all next time.
Bye.
See y'all later.
Bye.